There will come a moment in your life when standing still becomes more painful than moving forward, when the silence becomes deafening, when your excuses feel like chains wrapped around your mind. And in that moment, you will face a choice: to stay as you are, or to compel yourself to move. This is the Stoic path. Not to wait for motivation, not to seek comfort, but to act because it is the right thing to do. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. They didn't wait. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for peace to rule. Epictetus didn't wait for freedom to think. Seneca didn't wait for approval to speak truth. They moved. They acted. They endured. So today, you must learn to do the same. 1. The weight of inaction. Let's be honest. Most people are stuck, not because of their circumstances, but because of their unwillingness to move through discomfort. You know what needs to be done. You've known it for weeks, maybe even years. But knowing is never enough, because knowing is passive. Acting is power. In the words of Seneca, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," you are telling the universe that your potential can wait. But potential doesn't wait. It rusts. It fades. It dies in silence. And worst of all, it dies inside you, where you're forced to carry its ghost for the rest of your life. 2. What the Stoics understood. Stoicism teaches us one of the most liberating truths. You are not your feelings. You are not your mood. You are not your laziness, your fear, or your hesitation. You are your decisions. The Stoics understood that greatness is not born in grand moments, but in the small victories over the self. Marcus Aurelius rose each morning not because he felt like it, but because he understood his duty. He wrote in his journal, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work as a human being, not as a ruler, not as a philosopher, but as a human, with responsibility, with purpose.' This mindset is not for the weak. It is for the warrior within you, the part of you that knows you're meant for more, the part that's sick of being stuck. 3. Stop waiting for the right time. Let me ask you, how many times have you said, 'I'll start when I'm ready. I'll act when I feel confident, when the timing is perfect'? But the Stoics knew, there is no perfect moment. There is only the moment you decide is good enough. Epictetus put it simply, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? Because the truth is, you'll never feel ready. You'll never feel motivated enough. And no one is coming to give you permission. That's why Stoicism is not a philosophy of thinking. It's a philosophy of doing. 4. You must become your own commander. The world will not hand you discipline. The world will not hand you clarity. It is you who must take command of yourself. The Stoics called this autarkia, self-rule, self-sufficiency, self-command. You must become your own general. You must give yourself the order. Stand up. Move forward. Do not wait. Every time you choose action over delay, you train your mind to obey your purpose, not your fear. It's not about forcing yourself with anger. It's about leading yourself with strength. 5. Start small, move with force. If you're stuck right now, start small, but start with force. Not half-hearted, not uncertain, but with the full intention of victory. You don't have to conquer the mountain today. You just have to take one step and own it. Make your bed. Read that page. Go for that walk. Send that message. Do the thing you've been avoiding. And when your mind whispers, This doesn't matter. You reply, like a Stoic. Every act of virtue plants a seed of power. You are not just doing the task. You are becoming the person. 6. Pain is not the enemy. Stagnation is. Pain will visit you either way. The pain of growth or the pain of regret. The pain of discipline or the pain of decay. Which will you choose? The Stoics didn't fear pain. They feared wasting life. Seneca said, "While we wait for life, life passes." And Epictetus reminded us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Yes, you will stumble. Yes, you will sweat. Yes, you will feel discomfort. But that's not failure. That's progress. 7. Inner power over outer chaos. Maybe the world around you is chaotic. Maybe people let you down. Maybe nothing feels certain. But here's what the Stoics knew. The outer world is not your battlefield. The inner world is. That's where the war is won. Marcus Aurelius faced plague, betrayal, war. But he still said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The real enemy is not your situation. It's your resistance to action. When you take control of your inner world, the outer world loses its grip on you. You stop asking for life to be easier. You start making yourself stronger. 8. The habit of movement. Here's a secret. Action is a habit. Just like laziness is a habit. Just like overthinking is a habit. The more you do, the easier it becomes to do again. Each action reinforces your identity. Each step forward tells your mind, "I am not stuck. I am not helpless. I am capable." Do it enough times, and that belief becomes reality. This is how the Stoic sharpens his sword. Not in thought, not in dreaming, but in doing. Day by day, action by action. 9. When the fire comes. And when life hits you. When it all crashes down. When motivation is nowhere to be found. That's when you'll rely on what you built. That's when Stoicism becomes more than philosophy. It becomes your armor. Because you've trained. You've acted. You've become solid inside. And you don't crumble. You rise. Because you know. Discipline doesn't depend on comfort. Action doesn't depend on ease. And forward is always the only direction. Compel yourself to move. So today, this moment, decide to live like a Stoic. Not tomorrow. Not later. No. Compel yourself to move. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because in that movement, you will find clarity. You will find strength. You will find yourself. The greats weren't chosen. They chose themselves. They didn't wait for fate to act. They acted and created fate. Now it's your turn. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to move forward, deliberately, powerfully. The Stoic way. Our future begins now. When you compel yourself to act, let them doubt, let them sleep. But you rise, you move, you become. Because that's what Stoics do.